Good morning. We are studying the last poem of the main course book, Flamingo. The title of this poem is Aunt Jennifer's Tigers. This poem is written by American poet Adrienne Rich. This poem was published in the year 1951. So, you'll come to know the problems faced by women in the 50s. At that particular time, women were confined to the house. By and large, women were under the control of men. It was a patriarchal society. So here, the man was the boss at home. He was a dominant force there. And here, the poem describes a woman, Aunt Jennifer, who crafts vibrant tapestry panels to escape mentally from her unhappy marriage. So here, the poet is criticizing the traditional institution of marriage, suggesting that it oppresses women. Because it's only after marriage she has started leading this kind of life. So let's study this poem, which narrates the sufferings of women due to marriage. Let's recite the poem together. There are three stanzas, but all these three stanzas contain a lot very meaningful stanzas reflecting the status of women in the 1950s. Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across a screen. Bright topaz denizens of a world of green. They do not fear the men beneath the tree. They pace in sleek, chivalric certainty. Aunt Jennifer's finger fluttering through her womb find even the ivory needle hard to pull. The massive weight of Uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. When Aunt is dead, her terrified hands will lie, still ringed with ordeals she was mastered by. The tigers in the panel that she made will go on prancing, proud and unafraid. What is the rhyme scheme here used? So if you want to find out the rhyme scheme, look at the last word of each line. Screen rhymes with green. So screen, you can label it as A. So second line, green will be A only. So A. Tree, tree, certain T, tree, certain T. So it rhymes, though it's a little bit different, but comes closer. Certain tree, tree, and the tree, because R is not pronounced. So tree, certainty, right? So that's why you can say it rhymes with certainty. So AABB, that is a rhyme scheme of this poem, because later you'll find CC, DD as it goes on, EE, So if they ask you the question, you can write AABB, that is the rhyme scheme of the poem Aunt Jennifer's tigers. Let's take up the first stanza. Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across a screen. Aunt Jennifer. The poet is talking about a woman. And she calls her Aunt Jennifer. What is Aunt Jennifer doing? Aunt Jennifer's tigers. She's embroidering a piece of cloth. It may be a tablecloth or it may be a wall hanging screen. And why tigers? The pattern that she's embroidering, that is, what is she doing? She's weaving tigers. So these tigers, the pattern is of a tigers, and these tigers, they are moving, they are prancing. They are jumping. So moving, prancing, jumping. So prancing, so these tigers are there on that particular screen, on that particular panel. So prancing, jumping tigers. So the pattern is showing that the tigers are moving or jumping around all over that screen, all over that cloth or fabric. How are these tigers? Bright. The color that she has used, very bright colors she has used. Topaz. What is topaz? Topaz is a very precious stone. It's a topaz. Now bright topaz denizens. So like the color of the brown topaz stone, that precious stone, these are denizens, these are residents of a world of green. These are living there, dwelling there in the forest, a world of green. Now green tells us the prosperity. Now green indicates the prosperity. So here it refers to the forest. Now here the colors of that tigers very bright as of the precious stone, topaz, as bright as topaz. So bright topaz denizens. So it's a very metaphorical use of this word topaz there. So this is an example of metaphor. Bright topaz denizens of a world of green. They do not fear the men beneath the tree. How are they? These tigers, they are fearless. They are not afraid of the men. Who is afraid of the men here? Women are afraid of the men. Man is the boss. Patriarchal society. Man now dominated. He took all the decisions. Women were not independent at that particular time. This poem was published in the year 1951, in 50s. Women were totally powerless. So they do not fear the men beneath the tree. So these men were all having shelter, leading a comfortable life. They do not fear. They are not afraid of these men. But who is afraid? All these women are afraid, like Aunt Jennifer. And these tigers, she is not able to lead the life of the tigers, but she is mentally visualizing the life of tigers. They pace in sleek, chivalric certainty. Certainty, there is a confidence. Certainty, chivalric. They respect to remain chivalric. They treat women well with respect. So that was the quality of a chivalric person. Slick, very quick, slick. So the tigers are looking very elegant. They are looking They are shining, they are looking very, very confident, certainty. There's a grace in their walk. So the poet is describing a woman here whom she refers as Aunt Jennifer. She says that Aunt Jennifer is doing embroidery on a piece of cloth which could be a tablecloth or wall hanging. She has designed it with beautiful tigers which are running fearlessly in the green forest. She has prescribed their beauty by comparing them with a precious yellow stone known as topaz. She says that they appear bright yellow in the green backdrop of the forest. They are fearless and they are not affected by the presence of men. Here we can sense the contrast of behavior between the tigers and Anne. Though the tigers designed by her are fearless, but she herself is very much afraid of her husband. Furthermore, she says that the tigers are proud and fearless citizens of the forest. They are fresh, shiny, and elegant. So now here, the rhyme scheme that is used, screen green, A, tree certain T, B. So what is the rhyme scheme that is used? That's A, B. And metaphor. So here use of topaz to describe the yellow color of tigers. Bright topaz. So that is used metaphorically. So that is an example of metaphor. So let's see the explanation. You can write the notes in your notebook. Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance and move across a screen or panel. The poet describes them as a bright colored like the shining golden yellow jewel topaz. They are free inhabitants of the green forest and are not scared of the men standing under the tree. These tigers move about with grace, elegance, and confidence. Aunt Jennifer's tigers are not real or living tigers. They are images created by her on tapestry. Aunt Jennifer, who is held captive by the oppressive hand of a patriarchal society, creates in her art an alternate world of freedom. The tigers represent her dreams, her desire to be free from constant fear and oppression that governed her life. These majestic and fearless tigers also present a sharp contrast to Aunt Jennifer herself, who is bound by the constraints of married life. Let us discuss the second stanza. Aunt Jennifer's fingers fluttering through her womb. What has happened to her fingers? Her fingers are trembling because she is so much afraid of her husband. When she is working on that, when she is pursuing her hobby, her fingers are fluttering, her fingers are trembling. She is not able to weave when she is working on that embroidery. Find even the ivory needle hard to pull. She has become so weak. She has become so feeble. She is finding it very difficult to pull that needle. Even the needle has become so heavy for her. And it is the result of what? It is the result of the marriage. The massive weight of uncle's wedding band. The huge burden. The life has become burdensome. And it is the result of the wedding. And during wedding, what she has got? She has got a band. She has got a ring. And that wedding band, what band is purchased by her husband, given by her husband, a huge weight of that. So it is a result of the marriage. As a result of the marriage, what has happened? She has been burdened, sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand, and that has brought all the burden. She has been made to work. It is remaining there in her hand, but with that huge burden of work is brought to her. She has been living a demanding life, and as a result, she has become very, very weak. She has been burdened by the obligations of married life. She has become the property of man. Now, here, weight means what? Weight means the encirclement or trap she has been caught into because of the marriage. So, what the poet is doing here, the poet is describing the fear of Aunt Jennifer towards her husband. She says that while she is doing embroidery, her fingers are trembling, shaking because she is so much afraid of her husband. Her husband doesn't approve her hobby of embroidery. Therefore, she trembles while she is embroidering. It has become difficult for her to pull the needle up and down. And then she describes the wedding ring which was given by her husband. She says that it is a kind of burden for her to wear this ring. She has been tortured by her husband so much that the wedding ring, which could have been a beautiful gift for her, seems like a burden, and that too massive burden. She has faced so many difficulties in her married life that the little ring is described as a heavy band on her trembling fingers. This means that the ring is associated with ordeals or bad experiences in the form of probably the torture, and as a result of that, the traumatic life which she is leading. So in the second stanza, Aunt Jennifer appears to be creating beautiful images of the tigers by using wool, but she finds it quite hard to pull even the ivory needle. She is so terrorized and tortured that she is unable to carry the weight of the wood. Her fingers flutter. The uncle's wedding band seems heavy on her hand. It suggests that she feels burdened with her marital responsibilities. Through this stanza, the poet wants to convey the fact that a woman throughout her lifetime works to glorify the tiger that is her husband, but she feels so much subjugated that the marital bond becomes a burden on her. This is also the reality of Aunt Jennifer's life. Now let us do the analysis of these two stanzas. We have seen in the first stanza, the poet appears to be quite confident. But it's her inner desire to be like a tiger. She is weaving the pattern of tiger. She is embroidering the tiger on the panel, on the screen. She wants to be like a tiger, fearless, proud, confident, sleek. But in reality, she is not so. And it's the second stanza very strikingly tells us the real situation, the exploitation, the trouble, the trauma that she is undergoing due to marriage. Here, the unnamed speaker of the poem describes the life of Aunt Jennifer, a woman who cannot escape her subservient role in her marriage. She also can't escape the marriage itself. This poem is written in 1951. The poem references a time where divorce was a social no-go. Hampered by her fear, the one form of escape Aunt Jennifer does have is through her creative work, crafting tapestry panels that show colorful scenes of bold and proud tigers. The poem argues that through her art, which will live on well after aunt, uncle, and the unhappy marriages are gone, Aunt Jennifer finds an escape that not even death will grant her, a hint of freedom in the immortal nature of her work. Aunt Jennifer turns to needlework. She turns to embroidery as a creative outlet, a means of coping with a difficult marriage and escaping her oppressive everyday reality. Why is she doing all that? Why is she creating prancing tigers? It is to run, get away from all that, to cope with difficulties, ordeals. The tapestry panels she crafts with her needle and wool show tigers prancing, proud and unafraid. This mood contrasts sharply with the seemingly meek and scared character of Aunt Jennifer herself. While the tigers are walking confidently, Aunt Jennifer can barely pull the ivory needle through her wool due to the weight of Uncle's wedding band or due to wedding. The speaker describes how Aunt Jennifer's marriage is an obstacle to her creativity, but the poem makes it clear that, at least in life, she continues her art nonetheless. The second stanza describes Aunt Jennifer as fearful and anxious with fluttering fingers. But despite the weight of Uncle's wedding band, she insists on creating, remaining resilient and perseverant. Thank you. Goodbye. In the next session, we'll study the third stanza.